Hello, 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 hello. How everyone is doing this morning? Adjust my camera a little bit. I'm not liking the view right now, but how you doing? How you doing? I'm just gonna give it a minute to get some folks to come on in. I know the mornings are kind of busy. Hello, hello. I'm not seeing your name yet, so if I'm not calling your name directly, it's why. I don't know what's going on. My Periscope's been acting a little funny lately, so I apologize for that. But come on in, come on in. Share the scope if you can with your followers, and definitely watch it in the replay if you don't get the beginning portion of it. Hello to everyone that is on. Thank you for joining the scope. The topic this morning is on, the perception of overnight success and how that can be damaging to your future goals, especially when it comes to finances. So think about stories you've heard where you feel like you don't really get the middle part of someone's journey. You just hear, oh, they suddenly have money. They had humble beginnings. They were poor or broke or working, really hard to get somewhere. Suddenly they just have all this money that they can have access to. And you sort of think like, okay, so how does that happen for me? And what that does is, because you don't hear the middle part, because you don't have a sense of, hello, come on in, come on in. I'm sorry, I'm not, for whatever reason, Periscope is not showing your name, so I can't call your names directly. So I apologize for that. But yeah, so you don't hear the middle part. You don't have a sense of what the person had to go through in those trying times. So you perceive that, oh, well, when it comes to my financial situation, I should be able to get out of it in no time. But what we don't realize is there's a process for how we get out of our situations. You didn't just suddenly, hello, now I'm seeing the names. Legros Pascal too, thank you for coming. You don't understand the process you have to go through in order to see major financial success. Think about lottery winners. Why majority of them will lose their money within the first year or two, because they've never experienced a windfall of that magnitude. They got it so suddenly, they didn't know how to keep it and maintain it. So they lose the money. They don't have any plans for the money. They go out of their way to please everyone around them. And then suddenly the money's gone and no one's around them to help them and support them when they're down. So that overnight success, that immediate windfall, that immediate opportunity to receive so much abundance can be damaging if you don't prepare for it. So that's why I work on mindset first. Your money mindset, your perception of how you deal with money, your perception of what success means will have to be dealt with before you have any conversation about how you manage your money, how you're going to do it in the future. You've got to deal with what is your current perception of financial success. Does it mean that you can have a house with 5 bedrooms, but you're on a small budget? Or does it mean that you can have this fancy car, but you got a Toyota budget? Like, what does it mean? And I'm not trying to put Toyotas down. I think they're great cars. But you're not going to spend what you spend on Toyota, what you spend on a high-end car, right? One that's going to, break the bank in the hundred thousands, right? So you can't have $100,000 budget and a 20,000 mindset. You can't have that aspiration for that kind of magnitude of money, but your mindset is broke. You got to prepare yourself for what's coming. You want success? Hope for it to come in small doses. You know why? Because once it's coming that way, you'll start to really appreciate it. You'll start to understand why it needs to come in that form. You'll start to feel better about it. You can hold on to it. But if someone today or tomorrow wrote you a check right now for $250,000 and you don't have a plan for it, you will lose that money within a few months. I can tell you that. I've seen it happen over and over again. If you don't have a plan in place, if you don't have a understanding of what to do when success comes your way, you can't appreciate it and you won't do well with it. And you won't follow through on the things that you promised yourself. So what is it that you're going to do today to help fix that mindset of you need to have immediate financial goals met, or you're just going to be done? Well, if I don't get X, Y, and Z, then this ain't going to work. Or if I don't start saving money tomorrow, I can't do this. No, it's a process. I'm talking to you 4 years in the making for me, going on 5 years of me taking charge of my financial future. 5 years. I thought I had that same mindset. I thought the same way. Oh, when I start working with my financial coach, I'm going to have money in the bank month 3. Unrealistic. It took me almost a year to fix my mindset. Almost a year before I finally understood the purpose of budgeting in my life, the purpose of saving money in my life, the purpose of, really being careful and understanding why money and the way I managed it mattered. I had to go through that transition because no one had ever stopped me in my tracks like my coach did. No one had ever made me really reconsider how my perception of what it meant to have a certain amount of money to access. Because I worked off of a broke mentality. I worked off of a poor mentality. I didn't understand. I just thought money was meant to come and go immediately. I didn't understand. I didn't perceive it as something that stayed in my life. So if you perceive money that way, of course it seeps into other parts of your life. So it may come into your marriage, it may come into your relationships, it may come into the way you operate with people on a daily basis. If you feel like things just need to happen immediately, you will always feel that way about everything. It won't matter what the issue is. So how can you take that mindset and shift it? Let's talk about how we shift. We go from, okay, my financial success is not going to be immediate. There needs to be a process. Then you become patient. Then you become more determined. Then you celebrate your small successes. So you didn't buy, coffee every day this week. You stuck to your 3, cup a week budget. Good for you. Celebrate that. So you saved $500 in the last 2 months. Celebrate that. It didn't happen overnight. You took the time. You went through the process. You felt those pains of putting that money in the account when you wanted to do something else with it. You understood how it really mattered each time you did something small. You celebrated your small successes along the way so that when you got to the big one, you understood the work it took to get there, and you appreciate it, and you will fight hard to keep and hold on to it because it mattered. It matters now. So don't look for that overnight success. They don't exist. Anyone telling you they can pull you out of a situation within months, they're lying to you. And if they're doing that, they're not doing it for the right reasons. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to get you to understand your money. Because I needed someone to get me to understand how I viewed money. I needed someone to, hey Shelly Joe, how you doing? I needed someone to make me understand why it was important to deal with my mindset before I dealt with my finances. Because my finances were in a bad shape. You're talking to someone who almost hired a lawyer to go through bankruptcy, and that lawyer cost money. I didn't even have the money to pay the bankruptcy lawyer. That was one of the reasons I stopped. When he said, oh, you got $1,500 to pay me in order to go through this process, I'm like, I'm broke. I don't have the money to pay you. Clearly, if I had $1,500, I probably should have used that to pay off some of this debt. And I had to go home and say, well, if I can't even pay a bankruptcy lawyer, then I really got problems. And that's what I decided I had to do something else. And I went through credit counseling. Twice. Credit counseling still didn't help me. It wasn't until I had to meet with I made the decision. I said, listen, if this doesn't work, if this coach does not support my process, if he doesn't help me in the way that I need to, then I'm lost. I don't have no other way to make it happen. I'm really a lost child. And I prayed before I went through my process. I prayed. I said, God, I want you to direct me to someone who's going to help me. And it was a spiritually based financial company. Their website came through a Christian website. And once I started working with them, the first thing the man told me, he said, I don't even want to talk budgets with you. I don't even want to address, what you got going on right now in terms of money. He said, I want to address your mindset. How do you perceive money? When you go to spend it, how are you thinking? When the money is put into your account, what is the first thing you do? Once we started having those conversations, he talked about the way I grew up. We talked about how money was in my family. Money came and went really fast in our household because it couldn't stay. We were so many. I'm one of 6 children between my parents. And then they raised an additional 5 on top of that. So imagine, my parents were supporting a lot of people. So money was scarce. So I lived with a scarcity mindset all the time. I just was always scared money was going to go away. So I had to spend it before it went away. I had to make sure I paid everything. Once I paid my bills, even if I had $10 left over, I was okay. That's how I lived for so long. Money was a scary thing for me. I was scared of it, and I was scared of it coming into my life in abundance because I thought I couldn't handle it. But what I realized was I needed to deal with how money came in, no matter what, whether it was coming in at a slow rate or a fast rate. Hey, Rochelle, is my thing cutting out? Can you let me know if it's cutting out or not? I'm sorry if it is. But yeah, my parents really had me. Hey, girl, is it cutting out? I'm sorry. I noticed that you jumped on and jumped off, so I wasn't sure what's going on. So, okay. So for a long time, my parents, the way we grew up, and even the way they grew up, money was only there for a short period of time. It had a short lifespan in your accounts, in your household. You didn't really hold on to it. I wasn't taught to hold on to money. I was taught to let it go all the time. And I'm going to tell you, yes, at some point you need to let it go. But you also need to make sure you got something waiting. So if anything happens, or you need to invest in something, there's money there to invest in something long term that's going to pay you back, because money shouldn't just come out of your life like that. You need to have something invested. Investments over time pay you back. When I heard the concept of investment and paying myself back, it blew my mind. And I was an adult learning this. This is why I teach people now. I'm like, start having conversations with your children. You shouldn't be 20, 28, 32 years old, finally figured out what money matters mean. Like, you shouldn't be having to have interventions at 40 when it comes to your money. It really shouldn't happen. Like, we could change generational wealth. We can change generational poverty if we taught our children at a young age money principles that we've now learned. We can do that. My daughter's money mindset will be so different from mine at her age, now at 9, than it was for me. I include her in everything. Yes, they are watching us. I include her in everything because I want her to understand when money comes into her life, she knows how to. They're already getting money. Kids get money at such a young age. Birthdays, they get it at birthdays. They get it at different events in their life. When the tooth fairy comes. So now you can teach them. Look, when the tooth fairy leaves you money, what do you do with it, honey? Do you put it in your bank or do you go spend it? And if your kid is always spending that money, stop them. No. If I give you $2, take $1, put it away, take the other $1 and spend it. You don't have to spend the full $2. If someone gives you money for your birthday, take some, put it aside. even if it's just 10% of it. Take 10% of that money, put it aside. Use some of it to buy things that you need, and use something to buy what you want. The other day, so I'll tell you something. The other day, my daughter, when we first moved down to Georgia, my daughter was given some money. My brother gave her money. One of my coworkers gave her money. Her grandparents gave her money. So she had a good bit of money. She had about $60. Okay? And one of my friends told her, take this money and buy food along the way when you guys go to the airport. So when we stopped, I told her, I said, you're going to pay for your meal. So I let her pay for a meal. And then, the other money that she got for her grandparents, I said, you're going to take that and help towards buying things that you might need for, school. Or, little trinkets that you might need. So I told her to hold on to that. Then the other day she had to pay for lunch at school. I was like, take some of that money and pay for lunch. I had the money. But I wanted her to see how it is to pay for things that you need. And the funny thing is, she told me in the store the other day, she wanted Mentos. Hey, how are you? She wanted Mentos in the store. We're in the grocery store. She's like, oh, Mom, I want Mentos. I said, okay, they're 2 for $1. You have $2 on you. I know that you have $2. Take your money and buy your Mentos. She goes, why would I do that? That's spending my money. I said, oh, for real? Hey, Bronze. I was like, why would I do? She goes, why would I do that? I said, oh, so it's okay for me to spend my money, but you don't want to spend yours. I said, you see, you understand already. And she's 9. She got it. She knew I have $2. And if I spend $1 right now, I'm only going to have 1 left. She understood. But I wanted her to know, look, just as much as you got money, you have money, I have money too. But I'm going to be smart with my money. And you're going to be smart with your money. If you want something that bad, pay for it. If you don't want it, keep the money. And what she did, she only bought one of the Mentos. They were 2 for $1. She bought one of them, so she only spent 50 cents. And she was proud. She took her money, went up to the counter. It's all through action. You have to teach them through action. I think I'm getting off a little off topic here, but I'm just saying we can change our own children's perception of money from what it was for us at that age. All I knew is if I went into the store and I asked my mom to buy me something and she said no, I wasn't getting it. And that was it. What I'm teaching my kid is you have money. You make the choice whether you want it that bad or not. And once you start to see that money go away, you'll start to make better choices. You're like, okay, no, I don't really need it. And you won't buy it. But if every time I went into the store with her, every time she asked for something, I bought it. What did I teach her? Well, for every time you go somewhere, someone's going to give you something. What I'm teaching her is you're going to have to get it for yourself at some point. It's not always going to come to you. You're going to have to go after something if you really want it. You teach them that now. Our kids, this generation, thinks everything needs to come immediately. And so we're starting to even perceive it that way. That's going back to what I was saying about success, overnight success. We want instant gratification. We want to know right away on the spot how we're doing. We want someone to give us insight all the time as to what is going to happen for us 10 months from now. Because we can't wait for the 10 months to see it. We're like, oh, I'm not invested in that because I don't see the payoff right away. But what investment means you need to be patient because eventually it will pay you back. You might put $10 into an account today. It won't grow interest for a while. You can put $10,000 in the account today. It won't grow interest for a while. What it will do come 5 years from now will mean that you would have developed a process it's something you can now live off of. Put it away, that money, investing. Put it into whatever stocks or whatever you need to do. Long-term investment matters. Stop looking for that overnight success when it comes to your financial goals. It's never going to work. You will not appreciate it. When you've killed yourself and worked so hard, when you get that thing that you need, it is going to matter so much to you. It's going to be so special to you that you'll hold on to it. Think about, I'm preaching this morning, so please be patient with me. Please, please, I beg of you, be patient. Think about when you first meet someone. You first met this person, and you want them so bad. You want this person in your life so bad. And you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're willing to do whatever it takes to get that person, and the work you put in, and the investment in time, and all this stuff, quality time, really trying to get to know the person because you're invested. If that person's well worth it, it will take time to get there. It will not happen overnight. No one's marriage, no one's relationship, not even relationship with your children. They don't happen overnight. Your kids take investment. My daughter didn't wake up on her first day in this world and suddenly have a connection to me. That connection had to be groomed. She had to see me as someone who was going to guide her, protect her. The same thing with her father. That didn't happen overnight. It had to be groomed. Your financial life has to be groomed. Give it time to bloom and grow and give you what it needs back. Do the work. Stop playing yourself. Invest in yourself. Find time for you. Sit down with yourself. Really think about why your situation it is what it is. Because if you haven't done the self-reflection yet, I could talk to you about budgets all day long. I could get on Periscope and I could teach you how to do a budget in 10 minutes. 10 minutes I could do it. It won't matter. You won't stick to it. You won't understand it. And you will never follow through on it. Because that's not enough investment. That's not in. I didn't invest. I didn't do my job. Mine is to make sure over time this becomes like a muscle. It becomes like a muscle you build when you walk into that gym on the first day. You've never been to the gym before. Yes, good things take time. Absolutely, nurturing. Think about the first time you walked into a gym. You've never lifted weights. This is your first time walking in. Did you suddenly lift that 50-pound weight with no work involved? No, you had to work your way up to 50 pounds. You didn't start seeing cuts in your arms until you were going on a consistent basis. You didn't start getting on that treadmill, pushing it to an hour on your first day. It took you doing it for 15 minutes. It took you doing it for 30 minutes. It took you doing it for 45 minutes until you got to that hour. You had to sweat. You had to breathe hard. You had to really push yourself each time because you knew you were working towards a goal. That's what this is. That's what this is. You're building a muscle. You're building this thing that's now become second nature. So when 5 years from now, I could go on my phone and I could look through my budget and I can remember numbers in each line item. That's something you could have never gotten me to do in my first 2 months working with my coach. Sometimes I would hide from it. I wouldn't even look at it. He'd be like, "Did you check your budget today?" No. Well, how do you know how to spend your money? How do you know how money's coming in and out of the account? You didn't check your account today? No. I check my account at least 3 times a day. Because I need to know what's going on. It's not psycho. It is what it is. Right? You got to be informed. You got to know what's going on. So are you ready to push yourself to the next level of nurturing, consistency, building that financial muscle? If that's what you need, if that's what you want, if that's what you desire, then I'm asking you to join me on this journey. Take the next step. Stop waiting for your rescue. Rescue yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in your time. Nurture your relationship with money. Join me on this journey. I'm going to tell you how. If you click on the link in my bio, it'll take you straight to my page where I offer opportunities for you to nurture your relationship with money. It won't cost you much. Believe me, it's worth a lot. It saved my life. It saved my financial future. I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I'm okay considering I don't have a job. I'm being transparent right now. I don't have a job paying me a check every 2 weeks like I did back in June. My last paycheck came in June. June 16, 2016, I received my last paycheck. I've been fully employed by myself for the last 2.5 months. Going on 3. No company's paying me. How you think that happened? Join me on this journey. Click the link in the bio. Take a look. Join the Get Your Money Life class. Get Your Money Life today. It's imperative. If you got $10 in your account right now and you're still sitting there wondering why it happened, get your money life. Get it now. Okay? This is Elkie of Savvy Moms Unite, where I teach moms how to live a simple, practical, realistic life. I hope this scope helped you. I hope you watch it on replay. Share it with your followers. Please spread the message. I look forward to working with you, and have a blessed day.